Welcome to Sports News. Leicester have completed the signing of Wilfred Ndidi from Belgian club Genk, subject to a work permit. Reports say the Premier League champions will pay up to £15 million for the defensive midfielder, who is already a Nigeria international at the age of 20. Ndidi has passed the medical and agreed a 5.5-year contract, and Leicester expects the formalities to be completed later in the week. He will be eligible for the remainder of this season's UEFA Champions League, assuming Leicester include him in a resubmitted squad by February the 1st deadline. Super Eagles head coach Gernot Rohr says he wants Super Eagles captain Mikel Obi to remain in Europe. Reports say Mikel has agreed to a deal in principle to join La Liga giants Valencia from Premier League leaders Chelsea. If the midfielder eventually signs up with Valencia, it will end a 10-year spell in West London.
Of course, I prefer that he will stay in Europe to play in a European team. I told him, I've seen him in London 2 weeks ago, and we spoke about that. But he's experienced, intelligent player. He knows what he has to do. When he chooses the money of China, you must respect it. And when he's playing in a good China club, like Oscar or other players, good players too, it's not a reason to take him never again. So when he's playing well, he will come. When the level is not so high in this championship, I think the player can be better, even playing in a China country, than the last time when he didn't play at all.
But no matter what you think, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. Meanwhile, struggling English Premier League club Swansea City has announced Paul Clement as the club's new head. The 44-year-old signed a 2.5-year deal after leaving his position as assistant manager at German Bundesliga leaders Bayern Munich. Clement replaces American Bob Bradley, who was sacked by the Welsh club last month. He will be assisted by Nigel Gibbs and Carl Halaby, who arrived from Tottenham Hotspur. Elsewhere, Julian Draxler has completed his move from Wolfsburg to League One champions PSG after signing a deal until 2021. Although the exact fee is undisclosed, the French media claim he will cost £30 million upfront with £5 million in bonus payments. Julian started his career with Schalke and spent 4 promising years at the Veltins Arena before moving to Wolfsburg. He was a member of Germany's 2014 World Cup squad and was previously a target for Arsenal. In tennis, defending champion Novak Djokovic has made a sticky return to action before recovering from losing the opening 4 games to beat Germany's Jan-Lennard Struff at the Qatar Open. Djokovic eventually snapped into his usual rhythm to win 7-6 and 6-3. The Serbian will play either Florian Mayer of Germany or Argentine Horacio Hebelos in the second round. And that's it on Sports News. Amarachi is back in a moment. Stay with us.
Chairman of Gambia's Electoral Commission, Aliou Momar Njai, is set to be in hiding, having received threats since he announced President Yahya Jammeh lost in the December 1st presidential election. Family members are keeping his location a secret, though he is believed to have left the country. His nephew told newsmen Njai was not willing to leave, but the family had put pressure on him. Meanwhile, President Jammeh has accused ECOWAS of effectively declaring war, having promised to remove him from power when his term expires this month. There could be a brief delay in EU Brexit talks after the UK ambassador to the continental body, Sir Ivan Rogers, resigned today. Sir Ivan was set to resign to prepare the way for a successor before negotiations begin in March this year. British Prime Minister Theresa May has said she will initiate formal talks between the UK and the EU by the end of March. That is, setting the pace for a 2-year negotiation process. Sir Ivan, a veteran civil servant, was appointed EU ambassador by then Prime Minister David Cameron in 2013. He holds previous roles in the UK government, such as Private Secretary to ex-Chancellor Ken Clarke, Principal Private Secretary to ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair, and more recently, Mr. Cameron's Europe advisor. Syria peace talks have hit another snag as rebel groups say they will not continue with the meeting scheduled by Russia and Turkey for this month in Kazakhstan. The groups in a joint statement cited what they called many big breaches of the ceasefire by the Syrian government, such as fighting in the rebel-held region of Wadi Barada, northwest of Damascus, which has been subject to almost daily attacks by Syrian forces and their Hezbollah allies. The area contains a major spring which supplies water to millions of residents in the capital. It has been heavily damaged in shelling and airstrikes as government has tried to recapture the area. The government says the rebels have polluted the water source with diesel, forcing it to ration supplies to Damascus. At the main news again. There was panic today in Cross River State over a suspected case of polio. The federal government has swung into action by sending a team of experts to assess the situation. Also today, troops of the Nigerian army repelled an attack by fleeing Boko Haram members in Madagali, Adamawa State. And head of Gambia's Electoral Commission today fled the country following alleged threats after Yahya Jammeh lost the presidential election last year. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.